Good evening, folks. Welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. I tell you, folks, tonight is the night, as the Dice Man say. The Dice Man came up with that title. Dice Man, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, folks, we don't have a guest today. The reason why we don't have a guest today is because Lolo is out working the poll, Marie Franklin is working the poll, everybody that is normally here is out campaigning or trying to get those last minute votes out. I tell you, it was kind of shocking to see the mayor's mom as a poll watcher. Now, Mayor Bland, mother, poll watching. Mayor Bland also outside holding up a sign on another avenue. So that's kind of like points to like dire straits, I guess. It which shows that perhaps the people are not supportive of him, that he doesn't have enough volunteer. I can tell you that Latoya Brown was out, with the signs up and talking to a few people. I saw her go up to a couple of people. I saw Kim Houston has had a table at Velma Young. You know, Velma Young is the largest box, but folks, I can tell you they're going to be gravely disappointed. And the reason why they're going to be disappointed, folks, because it's a low turnout. Now, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions and say that, well, I think the last count that I knew that Velma Young, the box at Velma Young had about 2,700 registered voters in that area, just the Velma Young box alone. I can tell you folks that after about 7 hours, there's about you have Oak Grove Baptist Church, that's one of the boxes. Then you have the Meridian Little Theater on Highway 39 as a box, and then you have the Velma Young Center, which is the major box, pulling a lot of people. Well, after about 7 hours, only about 40 people had voted out at the Oak Grove Baptist Church. Very, very low turnout. And at the Meridian Little Theater, only 146 people had voted. Very, very low turnout. I know what some of you may say out there, that this here favors the incumbent. I'm not going to be inclined to agree with that, and the reason why I won't be inclined to agree with that is because the Meridian Little Theater is supposed to be a stronghold for the mayor. So this is dire straits for the mayor, in my opinion. A low turnout does not favor the mayor because you have popular candidates such as Jimmy Smith and Kim Bernie Houston running a strong race, in my opinion. I've talked to people that saw the debate. No, I did not watch the debate. But I did talk to folks, and what they were saying is that Jimmy Smith didn't come across as a strong mayoral candidate, that he didn't come across saying anything. They said Kim Houston did very well. They said Percy was the politician, but they said the person that really knew and it really impressed him was Randall Jennings. So with that being said, now we'll find out where the rubber meets the road at tonight, because I tell you folks, a lot of people are just not voting. I mean, the people that live right next door to Velma Young had not voted after about 7 hours, but they said they was going to do it. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, gonna do something, is not doing it. Coulda did something, woulda, shoulda, is not actually doing it. It's not an action. That is not an action mode. I'm not disappointed in black folk. I'm used to this. My question to you out there in podcast land is, why did you vote? Or why did you not vote? I'm not really concerned with why you did vote, because we understand that. I want to talk to you that out there that did not vote. You being a citizen in the state of Mississippi, why did you not vote? Okay, I talked to some people. I talked to one guy. He was drinking his beer. I grew up with him. I know him. No, I'm not going to call his name because I don't want to embarrass him. He said he don't vote on the local level. He said that he did vote on the national level because he wanted to get rid of Donald Trump. I said, hold up. He said, no, no, no. I said, no, you're going to hear this. And so I said, you know what that's like? That's like having a dirty, nasty house that's never been cleaned, but you're going to leave your house dirty and nasty, not taking care of your yard or anything, and gonna go right next door and clean up your neighbor house and keep it clean and spiffy while your own house is dirty. And this is what's wrong with us. If you can be so concerned about what's going on a national level, I said, brother, you got it backwards. You need to be more concerned with what's going on in Meridian, Mississippi than you're concerned with what's going on a national level, because what's going on a national level inadvertently affect us, but everything that's going on in a local level affects us either directly or indirectly. When I say indirectly, our children. Well, our children, and he knew all these things about a failing school system, knew all these things about this administration, but yet he did not go and vote. Guess what? I left him sucking on his beer, saying he was going to go and vote. And I did hear him say, hey, you're going to take me to vote. And of course, the guy would take him to vote if he go and vote. And you know what? And that's really sad to me when someone would vote on a national level and not vote on a local level. I told I almost let the cat out of the bag then too, Bill. But I told this one person, I said, tell your mom to go and vote. She said she don't vote and she's not going to vote. And he was in the car with his fiance. I haven't registered to vote yet. I think she's 20 or 21, hadn't registered to vote yet. My mom don't vote. My sister, none of us vote. Well, you can kind of see how it is. If a parent don't vote or get involved with the political process, 9 times out of 10, the child won't vote and be a part of the political process either. Now, I asked just one simple question. Did you get your stimulus check? Yes, I did. That's how I bought this car. Yes, I did. I was able to pay my bills. I said, do you realize, had we not voted for Joe Biden, had we not turned out to vote for Joe Biden, everybody out there that's spending the stimulus check or going to get one would not be spending the money that they're about to spend. And if you can benefit from a system, but you don't want to take part of a system, that's what's really sad to me, people. I want you to leave your comments. And I want you guys to read, and somebody left me comments. I try to answer you when you do leave comments, and I want you to continue to do that. And folks, I'm very disappointed in Meridian, Mississippi. The reason why I'm disappointed in Meridian, Mississippi is because I'm going to talk about me a little bit. I'm not angry. I don't know whether or not I'm going to win. I can tell you what my chances of winning are. My chances of winning is 50%. I have a 1 in 2 chances of winning because there's only 2 of us. So I have a 50% chance of winning. Person has a 25% chance of winning and a 75% chance of losing, just like the other 3 Democratic candidates. It's 4 of them. Say 4 going in 125 times. So each of them have a 25% chance or 1/5 chance of winning. But they each have also, a 1/4. Each of them have a 3/4 chance of losing. So it's very well possible that our mayor will lose his job tonight. It's very well possible. I got a little bit concerned this morning when I got a phone call from one of my poll workers telling me that they wanted to know the count. They wanted to know how many points that this person has or how many votes that this candidate have. In other words, so I did call the Secretary of State because it concerned me that this person was not allowed to know how many numbers was there, but the person misunderstood that. But folks, it did not stop me from calling the Attorney General. It did not stop me. Yes, I called the Attorney General. They gave me the number to the Secretary of State, but that was hindsight 2020 because I had already called the Secretary of State hotline. And so I didn't get a chance to talk to an election attorney, but I did talk and I did voice my concerns about a possible steal. No, I don't think this administration is bold enough to try to steal an election from Kim, Jimmy, Tyrone, and Randall Jennings. I just don't think so. I don't think they'll let that happen. I can lose. I can lose and it won't bother me. It's like having, I can give you my last. I can give it all to you, but I'm not going to let you take 1 dime from me, so you can understand that. But the turnout is very, very low. And for this to be a majority city, we talk about being in the majority, us being the numbers, and that's what's sad, and it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment to be in a city where blacks are so complacent and so satisfied with their lot in life that they won't do not one thing to try to make a difference. I'm not talking about all of you. I'm talking about you that do not get involved in the political process. I'm talking about you that will not stand up for anything. I know that some of you are somewhat apprehensive. You don't want to say who you vote for or anything like that. But I can tell you, people, that it really bothers me that when I go, I go out and I go out on a limb and I say a lot of things. I talk about things. I tell you things that you don't know. I expose. I actually put myself at risk. I put myself at risk for you. But you're not showing me that what I'm doing is make a difference. So I'm going to ask you out there, folks, why should I continue to do what I'm doing if what I'm doing is not making a difference? It's making a difference in my life. Yes, it's causing the administration that I'm castigating or talk about or exposing it, causing them to come after me. So, but why should I continue doing? I'm asking you out there in podcast land. Tell me, why should I continue doing what I'm doing? I'm the go-to person in Meridian, Mississippi, Lauderdale County, East Mississippi, West Alabama. I'm the go-to person. I'm the person that people come when they have problems. I'm the person when they have problems with their attorney. I'm the person they come to when they have a problem with their neighbor, with their landlord, with their employment, being mistreated in their with their landlord, being mistreated on their jobs, being mistreated in their community, being mistreated by the court system, being mistreated by the administration, being mistreated by anything. I'm that go-to person. I'm also a father. I'm also a man. I'm a strong black man. I am a hands-on parent. So you can see how I'm pulled so many different ways, and I don't mind. I don't mind standing up fighting for right or fighting for what's going on or fighting for justice. But I don't want to fight all the time if what I'm doing is not make a difference. It is an embarrassment to me that you will not get out and vote. Let me tell you what it appears to me. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I want you guys to leave your comments. I don't mean to hurt your feelings when I tell you not to ask me how I'm doing. You can still do that, but I want to engage you into the conversation. Do you know the movie Django Unchained? If you haven't seen that, you can just go and watch Deontay Wilder or watch Classics Clay Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier or Jimmy Ellis in Ali, or watch two blacks fight. You can go to YouTube and find blacks fighting all the time. You can find blacks because they always filming it. You can find bullies fighting, blacks fighting other bullies, and you can see how many likes they get, meaning that people love to watch us fight each other. They love for us to get out here. You got Kim running. You got Tyrone Johnson running. You got Dwayne Davis, Eddie Holt running. You have so many people running. You have Percy Bland running. You have Jimmy Smith running. You have so many people running in this race. For so many people to be running in the race, if you was to take the 500 votes that's out there at Velma Young and divide it among the four mayoral candidates, you're talking about 125 votes apiece. And that's really sad for every candidate that's running in this election as a mayor, as anything, because the people are not turning out. They're so dissatisfied with you guys that have been in office. They're not dissatisfied with me, but they're not dissatisfied with anyone that has not been an elected official. They're not dissatisfied with Joe Norwood Jr., Alicia Smith, Kristen Cockrell. They're not dissatisfied with Adrian Davis. They're dissatisfied with you, Percy Bland. They're dissatisfied with you, Fannie Mae Johnson. They're dissatisfied with you, Kim Houston. And the reason why I say that, because you're the guys that have broken your promises. You're the guys that have let this city die like it has died. Now, all of you want to fix it, but Kim, you got to really help me understand this. Did you want to tell me that you helped destroy this city? We have a broken school system that you would not fix in the 8 years that you've been there, and you want us to make you mayor. So you mean to tell me that for 8 years that you could have fixed the problem, but now you want us to pay you 3 times more than what you're making? You want us to take you from $20,000 to $80,000. Well, you want us to give you $100,000 a year to fix what you could have fixed in the last 7 or 8 years, or you couldn't fix? I don't understand that. That's not rational for me. That's not rational for me at all. So I want to say this to you, Tyrone Johnson. You want us to give you $100,000 a year if you're showing yourself to be a liar. The thing you did on WTOK, you're still talking about the same lies. You're telling the same story. Are you mentally retarded? Are you so dense? Are you such a dunce that you don't realize that everything you said have already been proven to be a lie? So you're showing yourself to be a liar, but you want us to pay you $100,000 a year to say you put your family somewhere nice? Do you realize, or you go on North Hill Street, you go out 10th Avenue or up Highway 39 and you make a left on North Hill Street and you go a right to go home. Do you realize that the houses on the left side is in Ward 2? That you could have put your family in a nice place in Ward 2? Dwayne Davis live in a nicer house than you have, and it's in Ward 2. Do you realize how ignorant that sounds? And you want us to pay you that kind of money? And even you, Jimmy Smith, you talking about we can do better. But for 15 to 16 years, you haven't thought or anything about us doing better. But what is the better that we're going to do? You must have forgot that we fired you too 17 years ago, because we were dissatisfied with what you were doing. You're telling us that you're not going to change things, so why should we get rid of Percy to give you the job if you're going to leave everything the same? How can we do better if you're going to leave everything the same? You admitted that on TV that you was going to leave everything the same. So why should we pay you $100,000 a year? Why don't we just keep Percy if you just going to be Percy-like? It doesn't make any sense. And you manumission Negroes. And the reason why I call you manumission, they call it meritorious manumission. Back in slavery time, if you was report on other slaves, tell what they're doing, if they were going to rebel or stealing the white man coffee or the master's sugar cane, or not putting bricks in the cotton, or whatever it is that wasn't right, that wasn't going to promote. How is it that you guys going to look at this city and think that Jimmy Smith is going to be better, or Fannie Mae Johnson is going to be better, or Kim Burnham Houston is going to be better, or Tyrone Johnson is going to be better? I seen Robbie Robinson come. I have not seen him in 3, 4, 5 years. I've only seen him once in the last 7 years come out and support, I guess, Jimmy Smith or Kim Burnham Houston. I don't know. He was at that area right there. But the fact that he's out shows that he's disappointed in what we have. The fact that Guy Wayne Davis is supporting Jimmy Smith shows that he's disappointed in what we have. Now, I don't even know whether Guy Wayne Davis live in the city of Meridian or not. I don't know that. But I know that he's disappointed in the way Meridian is. So, Guy Wayne Davis, I got to ask you this. If you're disappointed, why can't you embrace change, real change, such as Randall Jennings or Weston Linderman? I got to ask you that, because these are progressive. Meridian need a progressive mayor. We don't need a derelict from the past. We don't need anyone that's been there 7 or 8 years and has not done anything. We don't need anyone that's going to leave everything the same. Right now, baby, Meridian, if Meridian is a baby, the baby is sick and the baby needs a doctor. Baby don't need a bandage. Baby don't need to be ignored. But folks, you know, I guess I'm just talking because it's still time for you to go out and vote. You can vote. The polls don't close till 7 o'clock. I hope that you just get on the phone and call somebody. If you have some influence with these people that are not voting, tell them to go and vote. It doesn't matter that I just want you guys to vote. We need to show it. Do you realize what folks are doing? Folks on the other community, what white folks are doing? Shaking their heads at black folk. Boy, them Negroes, and y'all know I ain't saying the N word intentionally. I think I'll delete that from my vocabulary. So them black folks don't want to do nothing. They won't do nothing for themselves. They are pitiful. They're incorrigible. You can't help them. You can't save them. They don't want to be saved. They're just complacent. They're stuck in a rut. In a rut, they know it's a rut. They don't even care to get up out of it. It's like swimming in mud. You know you can just climb up out of it. It's going to take a little bit of effort, but you just rather lay in the mud and baste in the sun. We got to do something, folks. It ain't even about you guys out there. Man, you know, it's sad. I hope that the 10 people that is voting vote for change. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't have a high turnout. As long as the right people turn out. We don't want the wrong people to turn out. We don't need things to stay the same. But Meridian it could be because of the blood that's on Meridian hand, or the people that's in position of power, more powerful than you out there in podcast land. That's what it appears to be. I'm going to be taking a break soon, and We're going to come back and we'll read your little few comments, and then we're going to close it out. And the reason why we're going to close it out, because, I'm not going to go out there and start begging anybody to vote for me or anything like that. I think all that is frivolous. I think that I think everybody has made up their mind who they going to vote for. And to go out day and at the last moment to ask people to vote, it's just not going to happen. People already know who they're going to vote for and how they're going to vote. And so I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point. And what I'm saying, I guess I'll keep not saying it, but I just tell you guys, it does not matter to me how you vote. It's important that you do vote. And because we do not vote, they look at the numbers and shake their head at us. It's almost like that we're a town smaller than Marion. We're turning out numbers like we have a population of about 5,000. Truth be told, Dice, we're turning out numbers like we have a population of about 2,000 or 3,000. And that doesn't make any sense when we have less than 1-2% of the voting population voting, and the majority of those people black. This is nothing to brag about. This is something to be ashamed of. It really is. They're talking about us all over the state of Mississippi. I don't know whether they do what in other cities, what they do here in Meridian, Mississippi. But Dice, take us to break. Folks, welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. Folks, I just want to thank a few Peters. I want to thank my granddaughter Venetia Gregory and her mom Tracy. I want to thank them for being so supportive. My granddaughter came, spent the night with me, and she was at the polls early this morning. So I want to thank her. I want to thank my great nephew. His name is Julian King. His grandmother's Marion Gibbs. And I can tell you, and I really, his mom named Cal. We call her Cal, but I guess it's Carolyn. Anyway, I want to thank my nephew. We call him, they call Fat, P-H-A-T. But anyway, I want to thank Kim for being there. I want to thank Marie Franklin. I want to thank Loretta Allen Bennett, a.k.a. Lolo. But I can tell you that she really did got on the horn calling people and talking to them. And boy, did Marie walk me, boy. She walked me. I mean, Marie introduced me to people, and she really did. So I just want to thank them, and I want to thank all of you out there for donations. I want to thank my sister Joanne, very, very supportive. I just want to thank my family, period, for being supported. That's all my sisters, all my children, and everybody that supported me. You know who you are. I just, again, it's sad that we had a low turnout, but we're going to read your comments now. And if you have questions, ask those questions. If you want to call in, you can. Dice will put the number across the screen. If you want to call in, you can. And we'll see you Thursday, and we'll give our spiel on the election results. And so Dice, read those comments to us.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, we got Ellen Franklin says, "Good evening, peeps. I'm still at it."
Hey, Marie, just thank you. What do those numbers out there now look like if you've checked?
Okay. Crazy Gma says, "Did it look like the people that said they would vote for you showed up? I'm pulling for you."
I can say that I had a lot of positive response, more so than anybody else did, because you had I didn't see Davis, and I saw Latoya Brown there for Percy Bland, and I saw her walked up to 2 people, and I can say a lot more than that walked up to me and voted and said they were going for vote for me, and a lot of them stopped by the vehicle I was in. Oh yeah, I gotta thank Fred. Well, boy, Fred was there. My little daughter Red was standing up on the truck holding signs. She was out there, so I want to thank those too. And it pretty much so. But even a lot of people say they're gonna do things and don't do things, but pretty much so. The people that said they was gonna come and support, they did show up.
Okay. We got Kirk Holt says, "Bruh, it's very obvious who's running for a job and who's running for the people. They the one that you run for."
Boy, and that's my brother Kirk too. I gotta thank him. I mean, he's like him and Two Bell. They like my backbone, and he's right, and you're so right, and you can kind of tell that. I want to tell this story here. I was brought up to be a giving person, and I don't carry grudges and things like that. We weren't brought up like that. Yes, I get angry, but I can tell you that Lolo told me to put signs out Monday, and I did. By the time I got there and started putting signs out, Percy, Latoya Brown had already put signs for Percy going all the way up the hill, Velma Young all the way to the top of the hill at the four-way stop sign. So I did the same thing. So it was a lady that was there for Kim Burner Houston, just put one sign down. She's a heavy-set lady riding a Kia, same color, Marie Franklin. I guess that's maroon, burgundy kind of like. But anyway, I said, hey, you need to put some signs up. She said, I'm waiting on some sign. Nobody asked you that or something to that effect. Real smart and flippant. And I said, now, bro, I turned around and I said, was that necessary? Now, I was like halfway up that hill, so I had to holler down and tell her that. Well, and she hollered, I said, was that necessary? I said, I'm just being polite. Ha 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 ha. We're in the hood anyway. And see, that's the kind of thinking. We have different type of, and then it was folks out on the porch, Brother Dice, when she said that and heard her say that, hollered out and laugh about it. And then so today it was kind of hot and I was there with a cooler. Again, she had a younger person with her today. I said, y'all want something to drink? And no, we all right. She didn't say anything, but the young person did. And so we got to watch what kind of example we set for our children. And if you say we're in the hood anyway, what I deduct from that is that people in the hood doesn't really matter. They don't care. You can say and do anything and say and treat them any kind of way. But we got to get away from that kind of thinking, folks. We want somebody for all the people, no matter what walk of life they're in. A Mason, as a Mason, we have to treat everybody on a common level and depart on the square. You understand? We act on the plumb. Treat everybody on a common level and depart on the square. And depending on my obligation is treat all men just and fair. But not because I'm a Mason, but because I was raised like that, Dice.
Okay. V's Catering LLC says, Mr. Holt, what can be done to allow the county with no mayor, for example, to vote in the local election?
It's just not possible. You can only vote in your district, your ward, your city. That's like saying voting. You can consolidate the two governments, but that's something that the two governments would have to agree upon and vote upon. And it always got to be, that's one thing I like about a democracy, it's got to be what the people want. And I think they call it an interlocal agreement, and personally this current administration would not sign it, and because of that, but no one outside of Ward 2 can vote for me and vice versa. It's just, man, that's kind of like should be, but basically what we need to do, V, is we need to get folks turning out to vote. They need to vote. We need to vote. We got to make a difference. They don't understand. Everybody's around here spending those stimulus checks, but they wouldn't get those checks if Biden was not the president of the United States. Mitch McConnell, you hear him speak, and it's other things that's going to happen good for this country that would not be happening had we not turned out in droves and voted. And if we can turn out on a national level, we should do more so on a local level. Dice.
Okay. Kirk Holt says, call me. And Mississippi B. Mac says, do you have the numbers of voter turnout so far? I know North Test was 105 at 2:30. That's sad.
And I don't, but I talked about that earlier. After about 7 hours, only about 400 people had voted in Ward 2. And you got to look at, if you have, say, 20,000 registered voters, and it's probably a higher number than that, I don't know what it is, or 16, whatever it is, that's almost immeasurable. That's a very, very small turnout when you have like about 2,200 people that are registered to vote in just at the Velma Young box, if my numbers are correct. But I'll have all that Thursday.
Okay.
And bro, I will call you too.
Brenda Gordon says, you are correct. The city is majority African American, and the poor turnout days to everyone that the stagnation of our race is those who fail to exercise the only right that can make a difference.
And that's sad, and that was very well said, Brenda. and everybody's looking at us. And you think they're gonna care about arresting us, pulling us over, shooting us in the back, or doing any other things, or just basically being in the courtroom doing what they want to do, or treating us with deliberate indifference when we treat ourselves with deliberate indifference, when we don't care about ourselves? How can I expect anyone to care more about me than I care about myself? Or how can I expect anyone to care more about black people than black people care about themselves? So how can we expect any other race or any other community to care about us when we don't care about ourselves? How can we expect any other race or any other community to continue to give us and give us and give us, and we're not, and we're just steady holding our hands out, and we're not using that money to better ourselves? We're using that money, we're consuming it on our flesh, and we're satisfying our immediate gratification, meaning we want to look good and we want to feel good. Dice.
Okay, Brenda Gordon also says, you are correct. The other races that know the importance of voting are laughing.
Yes, and how about they're in a minority, we're in a majority. But our voting population is in dire straits. It is definitely a minority. Only a small percentage of us care and get involved, especially in this state right here. We have the largest, there's more black folk in the state of Mississippi than in any other state in America. And we should be setting an example for everyone, but we're not. We're the laughing stock for everyone, all the other races. I don't even know why other races. I think an Asian person, when the Asians was killed in Atlanta, then they're talking about Asians, and then they're talking about attaching that to not just Black Lives Matter, but Blasian Lives Matter, Blasians, Black and Asians, or they want to put it together, but they don't need us in order to be recognized. They're already voting at a higher percentage than we are, so they're definitely treated better than we are, and it's not their fault. It's not we can't fault the Europeans. We can't fault coming from slavery. We can't fault the lack of reparation. We fault the lack of getting involved.
Okay, Dolores Holt says, amen, Miss Gordon. So she responding back.
Yeah.
Kirk Holt says, man, this city has been hurting for a long time, and so is the people.
And bro, you're right, but the thing of it is that even when we were little, bro, it wasn't this bad, and more people voted. Do you realize that the number of black people that are voting is identical to the number of people who were voting under Jim Crow, when you had to be able to do math, and no matter what kind of test they gave you, only a few could pass it, or either. And I don't think it was designed for anyone to pass. It was designed to let whoever they wanted to vote. But you have a smaller percentage of blacks voting now than you did in the 70s and 60s, and that's sad.
Okay, Crazy G-Ma says, I'm ready to see Lolo back on your show.
Well, you know what, Crazy G-Ma, and it's okay, but even Lolo is getting tired of being and putting her life at risk and doing things for people that does not care and not being supportive. How about let's just see? Let's just see what happens Thursday. Let's just see, Crazy G-Ma. Okay. And what I mean by Thursday, we'll know tonight what's going to happen Thursday.
Okay, Lynn Hearn says, hi, I don't live in District 2, but I support 100%. I ask people who live in 2 to support you.
Thank you, Lynn. I know, Lynn. I appreciate that, Lynn. I know your family, and I appreciate that. Lynn, it's not so much. And yes, only because I want to make a difference. I would love for, I'm 67. I would have loved for a 57-year-old. A 47-year-old, even a 37-year-old or 27-year-old would have been better for me. In the state of Mississippi, you can be 18 and run for public office, and that would have even been better. But I want to see us get more involved in our lives and stop being controlled by this being free and that being free, waiting on our community. Now, we wait on income tax. And now it's another thing that we're waiting on. We wait on a few things. We wait on our They call them food stamp, but it's EBT. We wait on that subsidized food. We wait on everybody buy a car, buy furniture, buy TV when they get the income tax refund. So we wait on that, but we should not be waiting on anything. What if they cut all those things out? Then what are we left with then? It's one thing Clarence Thomas said, and I wholeheartedly agree with. We should be pulling ourselves up by our own bootstrap. And the only way we can do that is by getting involved in our own lives and taking part of the political process.
Okay. Kirk Holt says town hall meeting and educating the people about the process and knowing and trust in the system again.
Well, it's hard to trust in the system, but everything you say about town hall meeting with the people is something that I would do if I'm elected. I would definitely do that, and I would use this podcast as a forum. We'll reinvent this. We can make it a forum for Ward 2 or for the city of Meridian. We can revamp that, but we can't do that if we don't have the sort of support of the community. It's hard to create anything in this community when you have something and only a few people show up to it. And voting is the most important thing that any person can do, regardless of race, creed, and color, could do in a lifetime, because voting creates change.
Okay, and last but not least, Ellen Franklin says just waiting on the final number.
Well, folks, what we will do, I would like for one of you, I don't care who it is, to ask me what the final numbers are, and I will put it on this podcast, and some of you will probably know that as soon. I'll know, well, because Marie Franklin will know when all the boxes start coming in. I'll know when we get the numbers from Magnolia and from Oak Grove. I will know whether or not I represent you or Dwayne Davis. I will know that, and we'll put it on the website. If you guys ask the question, what are the final numbers for Velma Young, and I'll give you the final numbers for Velma Young and for Oak Grove. Not Oak Grove, but the Meridian Little Theater, but not for Oak Grove, because it's a small box and they got it on lock out there. We're not worried about them stealing anything out there. Well, folks, I just got to say I want to thank you for those comments, and you can keep sending them at the end of this podcast, and I'll see you guys Thursday. Hopefully, either Lo or Marie Franklin will be here Thursday. Dice Man, take us home. Thank you again, folks, for watching.